The topic for today is building horsepower and the importance of a fuel system. I see an epidemic of people on the forums, on the message boards, on Facebook, talking about, I want 600 horsepower, but I don't want to upgrade my fuel system, which is a death threat, a death sentence for your engine. And you have to build your foundation, and your foundation is your fuel system. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit, especially with the new generation direct injected cars. They have a very, very hard limit on fuel supply. Where the old cars, LS3s and stuff like that, with port injection, with the injectors in the intake ports, you got somewhere around 20 milliseconds of time to open that injector. So you can run the injectors past 100% duty cycle and still get fuel. It's not good. It's not recommended to be over 80%, but there's a little bit of cushion there. With the new direct injected engines, you got 6 milliseconds, and when you go to 7 milliseconds, the car starts misfiring. So you got a very, very short time window, and the size of the injector has a very, very hard limit on how much power you can make. On the new LT1 engines, it's right around 580 rear wheel horsepower, depending on the supercharger forced induction you're using. And I'm finding that there's so many people saying, I want 600 rear wheel, but I don't want to upgrade my fuel system. And like I said, that's a death sentence for your engine. And we're seeing a trend of engines that have failed because people have taken that approach. They push the car to 610, 615, they're bragging about it. I made 615 rear wheel horsepower. 2 weeks later, a month down the road, oh, my car's skipping, broken ring lands. So please, people, do not build your cars beyond your fuel system. So one of the big things that we see too is drilled out injectors versus a high quality injector. And drilled out injectors are going to be inconsistent. They might be matched as a set, but they're not going to be consistent from set to set. So, and there's no real injector data for a set of drilled out injectors. We use Injector Dynamics primarily because of their brand new injectors built from scratch. The quality, the consistency from set to set, the consistency within the sets is tighter than anything we've ever seen in the industry, and they provide real injector data to load into the tune. So you could take a bone stock car, put 2000 cc injectors in it, load their injector data, and the car will run absolutely perfect with no other tuning needed. So we're a big fan of Injector Dynamics. We keep tons of them here. Again, super high quality. We choose them for all of our builds. I run them in my own cars and every one of my customer builds. So real nice stuff. Little plug for you there, Paul Yaw. And I never knew Paul Yaw from anything until we got a hold of his first set of injectors, and we were so impressed that we just said, forget it, we're not using anything else. Fuel pumps, you've got to have enough fuel supply. The injector needs to be as big as it needs to be to support your build, but if you don't have enough fuel supply, it isn't going to matter how big the injectors are. Fuel pumps, we see fuel pressure drop in data logs daily, and we're selling fuel pump voltage boosters to boost that, or changing out the fuel pump depending on the horsepower level. So we choose our fuel system based on our target horsepower level. So if you have any questions, post them down below. We'll try to answer them for you. And I think that concludes today's tech session.